Hi, everybody, and welcome back to It's Poppin. I'm Mychal, and this is my beautiful co-host, Tesha.
Hello.
We're here with another podcast. It's super crazy that we're getting towards the end of the summer.
Yes, it is. That time passed so quickly.
It was really fast. It
Yeah.
was really fast, but we had a good time. And we are going to do something a little different, but more of the same this week. We are going to do an expert series. So my co-host Tesha is an expert on true crime, and we are going to have a deep dive conversation into a couple of her favorite Bay Area serial killers. So Tesha, start us off. Get us going. Who are your favorite serial killers?
Okay, well, you may have heard of Richard Ramirez. He's well known, like with the other ones, with like Jeffrey Dahmer and the Zodiac Killer. He's well known, and he was born February 29th, 1969, in El Paso, and his name at birth was Ricardo Linnea Munoz Ramirez, and he was born to immigrant parents. He was the youngest of 5 children. And he had a very hard childhood. His father was abusive. He was alcoholic. Not only did he abuse him, but he also abused his siblings and his mother.
Okay.
And when he was 10, he got into marijuana and drinking.
At 10 years old?
Yes, I think he must have really grew up fast and probably has seen a lot of stuff.
And chemically, just because you're developing your brain, your body, I'm sure that had a effect on his chemical composition.
Yes.
Yeah.
It probably made him make some very bad decisions,
Absolutely.
which we will find out about. And so, for reasons unknown, he went to go live with an older cousin named Mike, who had been in the military. He had served in the Vietnam War. And this cousin Mike had a very dark past himself. He had been a serial killer himself.
What?
Back in Vietnam, and he victimized women over in Vietnam, and he showed him photographs of all the horrific, I should say, crimes that he did to these women. Of course, I won't give the details of those, but instead of Richard being, shocked or disgusted, he was fascinated by these pictures.
So he was indoctrinated into like the idea that you could kill and get away with it.
Yes.
By his cousin that he went to go live with at a young age.
Yeah, I don't know if he was trying to introduce him to the life of a serial killer, but it certainly helped along the way because he showed him skills he had learned. He introduced him to all kinds of weapons. I mean, when you're doing that with a child that's very impressionable, what do you expect to happen?
Yeah, he had no chance.
Yeah.
Doing drugs, and then he's under the influence of somebody who is also a serial killer.
Yes.
He's like, he had no chance.
And then he also witnessed his cousin kill his second wife. He shot her in the face, and for that he went to a mental institution, and I don't know how long he was there. But soon after that, he went to go live with his older sister and her husband, who happened to be a peeping Tom.
So just from one extreme to a whole nother.
Yes, it was like one situation wasn't any better than the other situation. And so when the cousin Mike got released from the mental institution, he came to stay with them, and all 3 of them would go out on these peeping Tom excursions.
So basically, the cousin ended up getting out of prison after.
Well, he was in a mental institution.
He got out of the mental institution, and then was able to then go live with a peeping Tom, and then all 3 of them went and did peeping Tom things together.
Yeah, I wondered, did the sister know? I'm assuming she didn't know this was going on.
I'm assuming too. Let's assume. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt, because what? 3 men under your roof, like going out and creeping in the bushes and
then one
watching
of them wasn't
people.
even a man yet. He was a teenager.
That's crazy.
And he had some interest. He was having sexual fantasies, and he started committing sexual crimes at a young age. He attacked 2 children in an elevator in a building. I don't know the ages of the children, but that was one of the first sexual crimes that he had committed. And
Was he convicted of that crime?
I don't know. They never said if he was. Maybe that was one of those crimes that it never came out, and maybe the victims kept to themselves. I'm not certain, but I don't think he was charged for that.
That's great.
I don't seem like he was from what I was reading.
Right.
He should have been.
Yeah.
He should have been. Maybe that would have prevented all the other crimes from happening in the future.
Yeah.
And then after that, when he turned 22 years old, he moved to California for the first time, and he got heavily into cocaine, and he started burglarizing homes to support his habit, and also to pay rent and I guess bills. And that was right around the time that he started his killing spree in 1984, which went up to all the way until 1985. And one of his first victims that he killed was a 9-year-old girl.
Wow.
And this happened between San Francisco and the LA County area.
Wow.
So he lived in those areas.
Oh, yeah. He was kind of like a transient moving around.
I think he was, because he was on drugs really bad. And I'm pretty sure he didn't have his stuff together if he was on cocaine like that,
Do you think that his obsession with the occult, like, pushed him over the edge as far as, like, really executing the killings? Or do you think that it was him basically being raised by a serial killer?
I think it was a little bit of both, but I really think the main driving force was the fact that he was heavily into the occult, and I think that was one of his main motives. But I do believe that the stuff that he learned from the cousin would help him to be an active participant in these killings.
Yeah, yeah.
I think if he hadn't ever stayed with the cousin, maybe he would have had a different turnaround, maybe. But I always wonder about cases like that when you see something about a killer's background, like what could have happened in their life that could have made them do something differently.
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of seems like even if he had the opportunity to do something different, like, would he have taken it?
Yeah, that's what I wonder.
And like, it's kind of, it's really like chicken before the egg scenario. Like he didn't really, there was either way he flipped the coin. He was going to kind of be this person. And our informative years are really, really important. That's why it's like, but the amount of trauma that he experienced led to that. It's not an excuse, but it kind of just gives you the blueprint, and it allows you to be understanding on a humanistic level.
Yes.
That's wild.
It is, and he didn't stop there. He was on these killing sprees, and he did have some survivors, and he would degrade them, and he would force them to say they worship Satan. And anybody's gonna say something to stay alive.
Yeah,
and,
right.
And he put mark of Satan on them, and that was one of the main ways he got the name Night Stalker.
Okay.
And he also, they say he did the crimes in the afternoon. I'm assuming the late afternoon. I don't know why they didn't say nighttime, because that's what the name implies. And it happened at night. But he was, in 1985, he was in a bus station in Tucson, Arizona. He had been attempting to go visit his brother. His brother wasn't home, so I guess he was returning back to California. He was in the station, and he was spied by 3 elderly women who recognized him from, I guess, on the newspapers and the news or wherever they seen him at. And he saw his face on the cover of a newspaper, and he panicked and he fled. And he tried to make 2 failed attempts at carjacking. And the first guy, he yanked him out the car. And the second one, the guy noticed him trying to attack his wife in the car, and so he beat him up. And this escalated, and somehow, some way, other residents got involved because they recognized him. And this was like Samaritans taking out full street justice.
And they said, not in our town.
Yeah, they beat him up with a fence, I believe. I mean, they gave him a serious beat down.
What?
Yeah, they knew who he was. It was more than 10 people.
Wow. And they were like, he can't be here. We got to get him.
Yeah, they had to get him. And so the police was called, and they took him into custody, or severely beaten. Ramirez, I might want to say, he was beaten pretty badly. And when he was tried and convicted, he was charged with 13 counts of first-degree murder and second-degree murder, rape, and then first-degree burglary.
Wow. And
so he was placed on death sentence, but he didn't. He wasn't placed on the right. I mean, he didn't die right away. He died in 2013, of lymphoma at the age of 53.
Wow.
And he had gotten married while he was incarcerated, which I have never understood the fascination with serial killers. Like, why do they always get these bundles of letters from admiring women? And I don't understand the fascination with that.
Because I think the fascination with serial killers goes hands in hand with like people's fascination with like true crime and murders.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's all within that same vein of like, you know, we kind of are into glamorizing like all parts of death. You know, whether you're the killer or whether, you know, you are the person that solves the crime or, you know, whether you're the victim. And all of the true crime content that's out there now can be seen in either of those point of views, whether it's if you're, you know, you want to have the killer's point of view or you want to have the victim's point of view or you want to have the point of view of the person actually solving the crime. So it's really wild that they would actually like want to be with that person. But I mean, I guess everybody needs love. I don't know. I guess.
I don't think they don't need that back. Because remember when that guy, Lacey Pearson's husband, Scott Pearson, he was getting all kind of letters when he was in prison.
Yeah.
And they was going crazy over him.
That's a case that they're getting ready to relook at. The Innocence Project is looking at his case. They want to reopen it. They're going to file an appeal.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They're trying to see if he actually did it.
Mm-hmm.
I really think he did. He had a mistress.
I know. I don't know. Now I don't know. I wanna keep giving him the benefit of the doubt until after, you know,
I still think
everything
he
pans
did it.
out.
I think he did it just like that other guy. Chris, what was their name? They had a YouTube channel, Chris somebody, and he killed his wife and their two daughters.
Oh, I haven't heard about that.
That happened a couple years ago, and he murdered all three of them, and he had a mistress. So it seemed like it's kind of like a pattern.
So you're going on the record and saying that mistress equals murder.
Yeah, if they want to get out of the marriage. That's what I believe. I stand by this.
That's a hot take.
I stand by this. I think they would resort to murder if they really want to get out that marriage that bad, or they don't want to pay child support, so they're gonna resort to murder. And that's sad, but I think it happens.
Okay,
a lot.
That's a hot take. But I mean, no, you're right. You're right. It does happen sometimes. It is.
So now I'm gonna talk about the second serial killer.
Okay.
And his name is Franklin Lynch.
Okay.
And he was known, surprisingly, as the Day Stalker. Just it's very opposite of what Richard Ramirez was.
Right.
And his main targets were elderly white women who lived alone or who was widows. I don't know how he would have known they was widows, but that's how it was stated.
Well, he'd stalk them.
Yeah, he'd stalk them.
He'd stalk them.
And then
during the day, though.
Yeah, it's in the daytime when he know that they probably feel the most, comfortable and
Right,
and
to
safest.
be moving around their house and yeah.
And
that's strange.
So this was in the summer of 1987, and the police, this was in San Leandro, they started getting calls from neighbors that had witnesses, they had seen this man different times at different homes on the sides of houses, in bushes, acting very suspect and everything. And they also was trying to figure out if it was tied with the killings of the victims that they had discovered. And so they went over to his house, and because they had heard he was an ex-convict and he had a past of burglaries and also of drug charges, because when he was a youth, he used to, he got arrested a lot, and he was also incarcerated for multiple years. That's all I could find about his past. I didn't see nothing about his parents, his family life. I don't know how he was brought up. They didn't have anything. So they went to his home. They discovered that he had a lot of items that were stolen from the victims. And so he was taken into custody, and he was charged with 3 murders. But in fact, he had murdered 13 people.
Wait, okay. So they were on his tail, came to his house, probably because they had a search warrant, looked through his stuff and found articles that belonged to the deceased?
Yes. And maybe also possibly the other victims, because they had 2 non-fatal incidents as well There were
Okay.
2 victims that got attacked, so he probably had their items as well, because
Wow.
the main stuff that he would take would be jewelry and money and other
Okay.
valuables.
Okay.
And so they got him for those charges. And I guess the reason that he didn't get charged with other, maybe they didn't have any evidence.
Okay.
That's what I'm assuming.
Yeah, probably not enough.
Which is really sad, because they deserve justice too.
Right,
You know,
absolutely.
they shouldn't be forgotten.
Just 3 people out of the 13 people
Yes.
that he is suspected of killing.
Yeah, they suspected him of those other killings, but he was charged for those other 3.
And how did the trial go? Did he end up getting time?
Yeah, he got placed on death sentence. I think it was in 1992.
Okay.
And he's still on death row today. He's over in San Quentin.
Wow.
You know, so he's still alive. At the time he committed those crimes, he was 32. So that would probably place him somewhere in his 60s by now.
Yeah, he's in his 60s.
Yeah, so
Wow.
that's the only ones I have for today. It was very interesting researching these 2 people, and I thought I would throw in someone who's well known and then someone who's not so well known.
Yeah, both equally kind of like chilling as far as like just their motive. But I do like the juxtaposition of the day and the night.
Yes,
I see
I
what
was
you
just
did
thinking.
there. I really like that.
That was interesting. One did his stuff in the nighttime and the other one in the daytime.
Right. That's really, really wild. Well, Tesha, I really appreciate you coming and being the expert
Thank
on
you.
site today about
Thank you.
true crime. I really learned a lot. And I also like that it was Bay Area specific. Just wanting to send our condolences and like more healing to the families of the victims and whoever was affected by these people. Just, keep pushing on, keep moving forward. And also, we wanted to do a It's Poppin spotlight
Yes.
on Professor Ann Patero's book. It's called In Between,
It's
Navigating
right here. I'm going to grab it.
a Colonized
This
World.
book right here.
And this book, she's talking about her upbringing
Oh, wait a minute.
and her moving from Fiji to America at the age of 11 and just navigating the change of systems and the change of worlds and keeping her tradition strong. So we just wanted to offer our support to her and have you guys go out
Yes.
and purchase that book. You can get it from Amazon. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's show, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
The exponential growth from the program from my first year to my 3rd year now, that's what keeps me coming back and keeps me excited and just like fulfills me as a person.
It's so impressive, and we every time we walk in here, you guys are doing something different. It's great. It's
Nothing but opportunities here, and we have sports to cover, we have the equipment.
Because the more ambitious you are, the more opportunities you'll have.
on-the-job training is huge.
Get the hands-on experience.
When someone asks who can do it, you can raise your hand and say, I can do it. So
Joining the class was the best decision I ever made.
Stand by, we're going to go to cut 1. And cut 1. Cross court to Audrey Jones. Audrey for 3! It is good! With 1.3 seconds left on the game clock, Audrey Jones with one of the biggest shots ever.
the sky's the limit, really, with what we can do here.
College just got affordable. Up to 100% of enrollment fees can be reimbursed for first-time college students taking full-time classes. At Solano Community College, we are taking full advantage of this to further your future. With certificate and degree programs in industrial technology, aeronautics, biotechnology, and many others, Solano Community College is a staple for success. For more information, please contact the Financial Aid Office at 707-864-7000.